Okay, so these are the 3 things you must do every single day in order to get shredded, to get lean. And if you follow these 3 steps every single day without fail, you will get lean. You will have that summer physique. You will start to enjoy the way you look when you look in the mirror. And just as a proof of concept, this is how I looked a few months ago before I started following these principles, and this is how I look now. So the first tip I have for you is to focus on eating real foods. Why? Because when you eat processed foods, for instance, if you compare eating a bowl of cereal in the morning compared to eating a bowl of eggs, right? Egg with a yolk mixed with egg whites, which is what I have for breakfast after I train in the morning. If you compare how much more satiated you would be after having the eggs compared to the cereal, it's not a contest. Cereal, processed carbs, fake foods, they don't stop you from being hungry. They actually make you hungrier. They make you want to eat more because they put all these sugars and additives inside, which basically triggers your dopamine and makes you just want to keep getting that dopamine hit every time that you eat the food. That's why cereal is so addictive. That's why if you pour 1 bowl of cereal, you know, that's not going to be the last bowl. There's going to be multiple that follow because of the sugars, because of the additives, because of the processed nature of the food. It's designed to be addictive, so you keep buying it. So when you eat real foods, not only do they satiate you, they actually make you less tired. So then you're gonna be able to perform not only in the gym, but just throughout the day in your, day-to-day life, at work, school, college, whatever. But I'll tell you now, when I was trying to get lean in the past, and I was eating all these processed foods, I used to have those Fiber One bars, I used to eat low-calorie crisps, even certain protein bars. Whilst they all taste great and they look good on paper, right? They're low calorie and maybe have high protein, some of these things. At the end of the day, they're not real foods, they're processed foods, and as much as they taste nice and they hit your macros, you are going to be hungrier and you would be better off eating something genuine. Fish, eggs, mincemeat, steak, something like that, right? So that's the first thing you need to focus on. Focus on the quality of food that you're eating. I know this is going to sound boring and annoying at first because that's how I was, when I started realizing that I had to switch up my diet and focus on real foods and I had to give up all these, processed foods that I genuinely enjoyed. It kind of hurt, right? I didn't want to do it, but let me tell you, I would not have made any progress had I not done that because I would have been in this loop of just wanting to eat more and more and more and more, and I'd never be satiated. I'm always fighting with hunger. And when you eat real foods, you'll realize even though you're cutting and you're in a deficit, you won't actually be fighting with hunger that much. Okay, you will not be fighting with hunger that much, I promise you. The second thing you need to do is hit your calorie target every single day. So obviously, if you're trying to lose fat, you're not going to lose fat if you're not in a calorie deficit. But what people will do who struggle to lose weight is that they'll have the calorie goal that they've set for themselves and they'll think they're sticking to it, but realistically they're sneaking in little calories here and there that they don't want to track because they don't want to be honest with themselves, and little do they know, those extra calories that seem insignificant genuinely are jeopardizing their cut. When you have your caloric goal, so for me that would be 2,100 calories, about 2,000 calories, that sort of thing. That's my caloric intake that I need to adhere to every single day, and I must adhere to it. There's no nuancing and kind of taking the piss. You have to stick to your caloric intake. You have to remain disciplined and actually eat that every single day. If I know I have to eat 2,100, 2,000 calories every single day, but then I choose to sneak in an extra 300 calories because I'm hungry, right? And I decide to eat 2,400 calories and think I'm still gonna lose weight. No, I'm not gonna lose weight because I'm gonna make that same error in judgment over and over again through my lack of discipline, and that's gonna snowball and stop me from actually making progress. So when you get your caloric intake, make sure you stick to it. Make sure you're tracking your calories through MyFitnessPal. And I'm telling you again, this is why these steps combine. If you're tracking your calories and the calories that you're eating are high quality and satiating, you're not gonna feel as inclined to want to step out of that. You're not gonna feel as desperate to add more junk calories in because you know that you're not actually that hungry. That's why diets like carnivore are quite effective, because when you're only eating meat, it takes the joy out of eating a little bit. So when you eat, yeah, meat's nice, but there's only so many times you can eat meat before you're kind of like fed up. So you're eating for effectiveness rather than for pleasure and dopamine hits. So be disciplined with your caloric deficit. Don't cheat yourself, be honest, and make sure you hit that every single day. And the third thing you need to make sure that you're doing every single day on your cut is to walk. And this is one of the keys to losing fat. Walking burns so many calories, and it's one of those things that you can do consistently because it's something that we do as humans in our day-to-day life. Walking is normal, right? That's why we have legs, we need to walk. And when I would try to get lean in the past and my step count was really low because I have a sedentary job, I work from home. When I used to try to get lean with low step counts, 3,000, 4,000 steps a day, even though I was dialed in with my deficit and I would literally eat, for instance, 1,700 calories at the time, I still wouldn't lose fat because I was very inactive and my metabolism was suffering because of it. So I would have to eat very low calories, which was difficult already mentally, And even though I was eating low calorie, I wasn't getting the results because my metabolism was too slow because I wasn't active enough. And one of the greatest ways to increase your activity is to walk. So I recommend getting at least 10,000 steps a day. But if you're genuinely serious about turning your body into a fat burning machine, walk anywhere between 10 to 20K steps a day. Realistically, I would say for the average person, you can get 14 to 15,000 steps a day if you're really serious about changing your physique. When you're walking that much, it becomes very difficult to not lose fat. So long as you're adhering to your calories, if you're walking 15,000 steps every day on top of that, I'm telling you, there's no way you're not gonna start to lean out. That is what allowed me to go from this to this. It was the steps. I now walk around 20,000 steps a day. At my lowest, like 0 steps for me at this point is 10K steps. That feels like 0 steps in a day for me. And what I mean by that is that I will not allow myself to fall below 10,000 steps. That's the least active I will allow myself to be. And that is why my body has changed. That's why my physique has changed, because I have changed my habits tremendously through walking. I've changed my activity level through walking. So if you're somebody who's getting, 4,000, 5,000, 7,000 steps a day, you need to up that, because I'm telling you now, that is the key. Don't underestimate steps. There's a reason why I don't recommend cardio to people. I don't tell people, oh yeah, I lost fat by running on the treadmill every other day. No, I didn't. I barely did cardio when I was losing fat. I do cardio now because I kind of enjoy it and it makes me feel good, but I don't need it for fat loss, because cardio is really taxing on your body. It's taxing on your central nervous system, depending on the form of cardio, of course. But generally, cardio is taxing not only mentally, but physically. As much as walking is a form of cardio, it's very, very, very low intensity, which is why you can do it every single day, hence why it's an amazing cheat code to basically lose fat. So if you're focusing on eating real foods, satiating foods, high protein foods, you're hitting your calorie goal every single day, you're in a deficit, and you're walking ideally 15,000 steps a day, there's no way you're not gonna lose fat. And if you're not getting leaner, it's because you're not doing these 3 things every single day consistently.